Yeah, new whip, I'm gliding. Everybody saying prove it when silent.
Bro, guess what?
Everybody wanna do this, they
There's
try.
no,
What's up?
there's no charge for bike storage. I know. I was bamboozled.
Despicable how I do this, I'm flying. Shoes looking like the loose ends, I'm tying. Big sprint into the tarmac. Long way from a minivan, but we're still sitting in the far back. New ride door suicide. You should see the damn Carfax. Always said that it's do or die, and I haven't had a damn heart attack. Got it on lockdown. Bitch that shows it's not loud. Guess on my stock now. Give you a hint, it's not down. Going for knockouts. Big hook when I drop now. How many songs out? Give you a hint, I lost count. Everybody say they feel me. My team like the SEAL team. Neighbors hear the wheel scream, I'm sorry. New whip, I'm gliding. Everybody saying prove it when silent. Everybody wanna do this, they trying. Despicable how I do this. Shoes looking like the loose ends, I keep on going and going, and stopping was really an option, and I would've quit. Calling it shots, I'm calling it bluffs. So one thing that I'm never calling is quits. They try to hate on me, wait on the end of the verse, and I promise you gotta admit it. If you got a couple, we got another. Damn, how is he not gonna miss? I'm at the top now, I got the code, you locked out. Checking the box now, bucket list get crossed out. Everyone talk loud, shh, calm down. I used to shop round, don't even check what it costs now. Everybody say they feel me, my team like the SEAL team. Neighbors hear the wheel scream, I'm sorry. New whip, I'm gliding. Everybody saying prove it when silent. Everybody wanna do this, they trying. Despicable how I do this, I'm blind. Shoes looking like the loose ends, I'm songs in the daylight, playing in my head, kinda like the A-side, hoping never ends, yeah. Feel it in the bassline, playing in the bands, kinda like the A-side, hoping never ends. I never thought that life could get like this, nah, but I'm still hoping it don't end like this. Still feeling like there's ways to go, which is crazy because just a few days ago I found an old leather-bound book with a paper note, handwritten 2023. I made some goals, a big checklist. I wasn't aiming low, little did I know. Fast forward 3 years and I'm here checking every single box. Didn't take it slow. I remember when they said I'd never make it, so I put my head down. They were going out, but I stay at home, killing everybody off like their favorite show, talking Game of Thrones. Whoa, destined for this since I was 8 years old. Cause I remember back in drama class, Billy Goat's gruff. Everybody wanna play the troll. I said it's fine, I guess I'll play the goal. Life imitates art, that's my favorite quote. Didn't wanna take the road, so I paid my own. Paying for it by myself, yeah, take a toll. But I had to take control just to break the mold, challenging the status quo. Whoa, yeah, songs in the daylight, playing in my head, kinda like the A-side, yeah. Hoping never ends, feel it in the bassline, playing in the bands, yeah. Kinda like the A-side, hoping never ends. Staring at this old checklist, wondering what's next. I remember when I wrote this, I was hoping that these things would bring me success. I mean, technically it did, so why am I still here unfulfilled, thinking what's next? I thought the stress would be much less. I thought I'd rest and be up less. Less sunrise and more sunsets. Shouldn't I be happy knowing that my own sunset? Will a certain income even change the outcome? If I take a second, am I getting outrun? Did I mute the issues or did I turn the sound up? Cause it keep getting louder, yeah, it keep getting louder. Locked inside the bathroom in Miami before the show on the brink of tears. Telling me that you're leaving cause love just isn't here. All of a sudden everything becoming crystal clear. Choosing this career over you, not in a million years. It won't interfere, that's your biggest interfere. Talk it out, shifting gears, fear started to disappear. Kept my head down trying to go the distance, but I don't wanna look up when it's over and I missed it. Damn, songs in the daylight, playing in my head, kinda like the A-side, hoping never ends. said it, the first is always dead last. I think it's all about the thing that we spend but never get back. Yeah, it's about time. This mic is too high. Drop it, drop it, drop it.
Yeah. I just been living, I feed a bankroll. How the saying go, got it flooded to my ankles. Need a raincoat, pair of boots and a dangle. Gotta stay flow. I might pull up in a stagecoach playing Beethoven. Didn't think that it would work. Now they coming out the woodwork. Built up my own platform. Could say I'm in the woodwork. Made the song go viral. Probably off some footwork. Either that or the hook work. Always think of the hook first. Now I gotta make a bag just to keep the lights on. I'm on your desktop, I'm an icon.
They say icon, could you put a price on? I said I ain't selling nothing, these are my songs. Been in my bag, got a satchel pack, give me a chance.
Acid rap,
Carry the weight, no fragile bag, factor cab.
that's a fact.
Even my cap is Snapple fact.
Me and my gang like Roscoe Flats.
Graduated like casual hats, back to back.
I just been living, I feed a bankroll. How the saying go, got it flooded to my ankles. Need a raincoat,
Pair of boots and a dangle, gotta stay flow. I might pull up in a stagecoach playing Beethoven.
Whoa.
How you going off like that? Off-white kicks and an off-white hat. Ain't start like that, but the thing's just dirty. Lock to a pack like I just got back. I could say hi, but it's just too
Fly
flirty.
right back at a bird in the cinema. Live it up clouds, that's when I kick it up. Fill it up, what tank ain't big enough. Eyes on me, so I gotta make a bag just to keep the lights on. I'm on your desktop, I'm an icon.
They say icon, could you put a price on? I said I ain't selling nothing, these are my songs. No way, make a bag, hell yeah, make a bag, yeah right, make a bag, hell yeah, make a bag, yeah right, make a bag, hell yeah, make a bag, yeah right, make a bag, hell yeah, make a bag, yeah right. Gotta stay fresh like a brand new whip, that new smell, switching it up, two-step. They try to text, leaving my bread, switching the phone, new cell. See what's I kept, do tell. We had a fight, tooth nail. This is a race, I know my place, come up first, blue shell. Just so you know, I'm a bonus expert in the industry, baby, store stats. I used to like it, the breaks, and I run it, cause nowadays I'm with the globe and I'm mad. Don't do the closest, I don't want none of this, I keep it simple, I show up and brand. Oh, feeling like Cardi when she got the bag, you know I'm closing the gap. Hard to know, but it goes all auto. I said trends and then you all follow. See no stack like a new staccato. DIY is the crew home motto. Float on the beat like it's easy mode. I'm on a whole different level, don't even know. I could've known the whole clip and don't need to reload it. I'm golden, I got it, I'm limited. Listen, they know what I'm about it. My penmanship different and missing. It's not in my diction, it's fiction. It's not in my ratings. I'm leaving them scared and I'm keeping it fresh like a brand new whip. That new smell, switching it up, two-step. They try to text, leaving my bread, switching the phone, new cell. See what's I kept, do tell. We had a fight, tooth nail. This is a race, I know my place. Come up first, blue shell.
I know some homies that lost my respect unaware. That's a reality check. My problems are stacking up, problems is taller than me, for real. It's giving me headaches. Please don't be putting on cameras in my face. That's tax reality check. Protecting the image and cropping it down. It's life editing, the vision is bliss. The money motion 360, moving in circles, and the shit track on me. Yeah, I got it for free, don't shop at the mall, nigga. What you even know about this? If you don't get it, that's cool. I try to tap in, dog. You don't even know about these. I'm rocking exclusive, drinking kombucha, I'm still being like this. They jacking the sauce, they trying to duplicate flows. The bar is bootleg. Making it flows, when keep me in flow. The money, my language, I'm fluent.
New smell, switching it up, two-step. They try to text, leaving my bread, switching the phone, new cell. See what's I kept, do tell. We had a fight, tooth nail. This is a race, I know my place. Come up first, blue shell. Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's good to be bragging. They never catching us lagging. Me and my buddy, we working hard for this money. You know I've been in my bag, yeah. Buddy, I got it like that, yeah. Y'all better stop. Me and my boy gon' climb to the top. Sidekick game like Calvin and Hobbes. Batman and Rob. Y'all know me, I'm down for the cops.
Y'all know us, we start the party and go way back like Doc and Marty. Either die legend like John Lennon or end up solo like Paul McCartney. Let's go.
W's only, there's obvious signs.
since the beginning.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us lagging. Me and my buddy, we working hard for this money. You know I've been in my bag, buddy. I got it like that.
Yo, my greatest idols are all-time rivals. I'm talking Biggie and Pac.
Yeah, every room that I walk into, it's like all I hear is applause.
Hey, I don't need to just roll solo. I got a buddy like Han Solo. I'm in the money. I rock polo.
I never bomb sets, I just bomb foes. Like boom, lights, camera, action, do it, big boy. I'm talking Miss Jackson.
All right, what's good, y'all? All right, happy Tuesday. Let's get it. It's time to eat, gang. All right, I am still holding this trade. Slowly but surely. Climbing our way up here. All right, indices, let's kick things off here. Obviously, I'm gonna do just a quick run through of where we're at with the market right now. Let's get it. So we have NQ, Dow, S&P. Everything's kind of climbing its way up, slowly but surely. NQ looks like it's about to tag clear New York highs. Actually, it just took out the New York high here. And then Dow is a little bit slower on the way up, trading specifically to where we had this, right? We had this nice little pump up here before it dropped down. And then here was yesterday's trade. Anyone else catch Dow's sell-off yesterday? We broke this one down. I talked about this specifically, you know, like wait for it to take the highs and then look for your short. I know some of you missed it. Some of you got tagged in, but yeah, caught MYM. Nice. What's up, Kazakhstan? Missed you by a little bit. That's all good. Okay, so let's get into whether this Dow short is valid or not, right? So we have a whole bunch of liquidity from yesterday, just kind of lining up over here from right after New York opened for like a good, honestly, hour and a half, give or take, hour, 20 minutes. Clear those highs, and then we just start working our way down. And after that happens, we also leave some equal lows right here too. So we slowly work our way down. To me, it doesn't look like we really rejected the zone yet. We just tapped into it a couple times. So if you're in this already, I hope it plays out. But obviously, selfishly, I want this to go up a little bit more, one more time. And I think it could, because I think that, for example, the way that NASDAQ took out this New York high, it just barely kind of took it out and then dropped. And then we have S&P as well. So it's missed me for now, right? For now, I'm not in this. I'm hoping there's like a little New York open spike up, and then we're in. So that's what I'm feeling right now. I hope that's how this plays out. Let's see if that's going to be the case. If you guys use Tradecopia for your trade copier, then make sure your software is updated. I think they just did another update. So check in on that. Make sure that's good to go. Make sure you're logged in to your trading accounts and everything's looking smooth over there. All right, so let me make sure I'm logged in over here. Oh, it had a nice little update. All right, connected there. Okay. All right, give me 1 second, y'all. I got to turn this water off. 1 second. All right. So like I was saying, basically, yeah, make sure everything's good, looking good for your accounts. Everything's good to go, running smooth. I'm gonna go for a short here with Dow. Kick things off. NQ now, price action is starting to flip. So now that NAS took out New York highs, it's starting to actually stay a little bit more bearish. I don't love that, to be fair. So that brings my risk down now. When price action like that flips last second, it can kind of go either way, to be fair. There is a bit of an imbalance up here, so I wouldn't be surprised if I were to lose right now this trade. So I'm very much open to half risk or a little bit less on this idea. I want to see kind of what I'm about to market execute this. I just kind of want to check in a couple different things. We work our way all the way down here with Tokyo lows, equal lows for S&P. There's some imbalances down here. It doesn't mean it's got to stay over here, but yeah. So I'm gonna shoot my shot with Dow. There's a couple things that I don't love about it. So yeah, I'll shoot my shot right here. Market execution 2 minutes out from New York Open. Nice little sweeps of liquidity. We're in here now. So yeah, we'll see. Oh, this is not going to be my take profit though. I'm going to push towards London lows for TP. So this is extending a bit, going towards past 3.3R. Over here, let's see, did everything execute the way it needed to? Yes, okay. All right. Something's up with this thing. Why is this like this? All right, so here we're seeing a little bit of drawdown. Again, this is important because I probably should have been more, well, I guess this isn't really on me, but on Friday, right, when we were taking positions, every time I take a trade, I tell you guys, like, I'm taking this with my normal risk size, I'm taking this with less, with half, quarter, like, I basically always tell you roughly what I'm doing. And so Friday, I think, except for one loss, all of them were half risk. So even though there were more losses than usual, it didn't affect me as much because I knew that there was a couple of things missing, or a confirmation or some sort of correlation that wasn't like perfect the way I wanted to see it. So yeah, make sure you're just not always, like, make sure you know what's the actual quality of your trade and then whether it's worth it or not. So you know, to what extent is it worth it? So okay, seeing the market start to drop a little bit here. We're up in profit just a bit. I want to see this drop about 120 points, maybe more if possible, in order to start to go, you know, break even and all that. So we initially got to move to the downside for like 50 points or something. Came right back up again. If we're looking at NAS is also kind of choppy here, dropping a little bit early. There's a lot of sign of liquidity, so that could be useful just for this to take out these lows. I do want to manage this pretty tightly. So if we, for example, kind of just trade down to here, going into this imbalance, that might be all the market wants to do to kick things off, is just kind of trap more sellers before making their move. So I'm definitely going to be mindful with trade management. Can't get too hopeful, guys. Okay, so now, let's see. S&P, oddly enough, is kind of leading a move upwards. And I don't know if it's Dow or if that's NQ. But all right, that's what we got there for now. right, so we're getting into a bit more drawdown, about 30 points in drawdown here with the Dow. Meanwhile, NQ still pushing a little bit lower. I don't know if this is going to be opposite, like if they're just going to keep moving in opposite directions. We're getting deeper into drawdown. It looks like it's going to trade into this zone up here. And we're going to get stopped out here for a half-hour loss. At least it looks pretty close. Yeah, picking up a lot of steam. And of course, Nas is the one that wanted to drop today. Classic. So take the L on Dow. NQ apparently gives us kind of like a shakeout, maybe. It clears the New York high, works its way down, and then now it's going over to here. These are definitely moving in opposite directions. So now we're starting to see this. NQ taking out the liquidity. And then Dow over here got into the imbalance from this zone a little bit more. And it's starting to work its way down. So now that this took out traded into New York Open, I know yesterday we looked for the liquidity sweep as the entry, but remember there's also this giant move for the sell as well. You have this massive push up that takes out tons of liquidity before it works its way up. So taking a short within this imbalance, considering these highs, that also makes a lot of sense to me. So the fact that we're seeing this kind of move in opposite directions, we're seeing NASDAQ go lower and lower, Dow go higher and higher, what would make the most sense for positions? How far down do we see this going before maybe you start seeing some reversals? So I think we're actually going to see Dow come short a bit. I think we're going to see a sell-off. I wanted the short out of here. However, it's got to be worth it. The trade's got to be worth it. So is there a risk reward that makes this trade valid? You know, trading into, let's just say, like this imbalance or something. So if we can get back into this zone a little bit higher again, because I wanted to just obviously like put the pieces together, come to a conclusion before I'm just, you know, pulling the trigger too quickly. But I think these are going to move in opposite directions. I want to be able to sell here, and it's going to be another half-hour sell for me. It's not going to be too much. It might just leave without me though. I might not be able to get a shot at getting in this. So if we can trade back into this range up here above like 51 160, I'll take another shot at it. Otherwise, like, I'll be chilling. Yeah, let's see here. All right, I'll pull the trigger right now. Missed me by a little bit. That's okay. So my thought process is that NQ is liquidating this trend line here, and then Nasdaq's going to want to keep pushing higher, and it's moving the opposite direction as Dow. So Dow, so the trade, this would have been the ideal trade up here, right? In this imbalance, and seeing us mitigate this entire move. Now this is a huge pump, right? This is about 300 plus points. So seeing this drop 300 plus points puts us at a very good risk reward. Like, you're well above a 2R over out of here. This trade now took a huge hit though, because I got triggered in right there instead of a little bit higher. But either way, that's more than okay. So now we're in position, or I'm in position. I don't know if you guys are trading this or not, but as you can see, right, look at how quickly NQ took out liquidity and is starting to reverse. So the inverse correlation is exactly what I was talking about. Now there's a chance that maybe everything lines up again and then everything starts to drop together. Possibility. Because at the end of the day, I feel like we still didn't really work our way all the way down with NQ. Like we didn't really work our way down into these levels over here. Big sweep down, another push down. Like we traded into the imbalance here, but we didn't work our way all the way down. So let's see how this starts to move around. Now, all right, so check this out. Now NQ is way back up here. Dow came right back up again. You have S&P flying over here. So remember, when you look at the indices, like all the asset class, Dow, S&P, NQ, it's kind of like one entire big, like it's all together. They all move it. They're all different pieces to one bigger puzzle. So trading them that way, like being aware of like, okay, this has to fit in that spot so that the other thing can do that thing as well. That's at least how I look at it. So now it looks like everything's kind of rolling in unison. So maybe things move in correlation or not. So we'll see. And then is this going to fill the imbalance and drop? Is this going to be an example of the market just taking liquidity and then just going even higher, taking Dow even higher? So what can it look like? The risk right now is, for example, like for every like 40 points, it's like $50 here. So my trade here is about 200 risk right now, a little bit under half risk. So if I wanted to, I could drop another contract in here and they would still be part of the risk that I want, and then they would average me up a little bit in entry size. But I'm okay with leaving it like that. Meanwhile, we have metals that are a lot more bearish. So let's switch over to metals, see what we have going on here. Metals on the other side, and let's zoom out a little bit. I'm sure a lot of you guys, I know a lot of you guys love trading gold. So metals here have been squeezing quite a bit. So we have basically like resistance. The market's just kind of trading up here. A lot of liquidity over here as well. So you can see how the market's starting to trend. So a lot of buyers off of this type of trend line. There's imbalance below here. I still have this marked up over here as well. So gold has left behind imbalance and a big sweep. And it's dropping, right? Gold is going lower, minimal, but it is working its way a little bit lower. Whereas silver is also starting to crash down, and it's trading into this 12:30 a.m. Central. So it's a bit more aggressive at the moment for silver's movement. Silver over here has been same thing. It's kind of like trending downwards. This looks more like resistance than to me than anything else, but obviously this just took out these highs and then came crushing down here. So is there room for an entry somewhere? Obviously we're seeing gold and silver here. You saw a little push down before it rallied right there, but is that enough for a buy position? This little move right here, is this enough, right? This is a little move, takes out like 30 minutes worth of liquidity, so not a whole bunch. And then every time we're going higher here, this is struggling to maintain highs. So I don't know. I don't know if this is really worth buying. I think I'd rather be not in this zone. I think we can before anything. Now, quick update with indices again. S&P is starting to slow its way upwards, so it's kind of struggling. It came into this imbalance, and now it's starting to work its way down. Dow in deeper levels of retracement over here, and then now NQ apparently just this is doing the opposite again. So NQ works its way down. After sweeping liquidity, it works its way down to here, back into the imbalance. So would I have taken a sell up here? No. Would I take a buy up here? It didn't really have demand up here for very long, so I don't really... It's not a high conviction buy for NQ. And if NASDAQ and S and Dow are going to do the same thing, I'm going to add a contract here. If we're going to see, and the only reason I added is because we're in way more drawdown. So this is a very small risk that I add to this, and then I'm still able to take my the loss that I would take. So here, NQ is giving basically reaccumulation. It's a very weak demand up here, so the buy, I didn't love it. I could see it, like I said, I was like, I kind of see this going up, but it wasn't my favorite. And then we have S&P that hasn't swept like a key level quite yet, which I think it's going to take out this high up here. So I think S&P clears this high, and that's a good place for like a liquidity sweep. And then S&P pushing, I'm assuming NQ keeps going. So if you guys took this NQ buy, which would be something like this, not a valid execution for me, like not enough demand up here, but I totally I intuitively it made sense. So I think this keeps scaling a little bit higher. I would say if you're in NQ buys, which is kind of sketchy, right, buying super high, but I mean, it sweeps liquidity, it makes its move. I say take this until at least S&P clears this high over here. Is anyone in NQ buys? Anyone in Dow sells? Took a sell on ES. I don't see the sell on ES. All right, S&P getting closer though. NYM, Dow sells. Okay, cool. Let's see if this wants to play out for us. All right, oil. So oil has been fun. Oil has been very fun. And oil has left a move up here. So it had a nice little sweep up, and then everything just started to crash down. Had a nice rejection yesterday out of this zone. So maybe you guys caught some of this, especially if you traded it just into the imbalance and structure. That combination is always a great exit. Now we're working our way down to this last sweep from Friday, last push down before it rallied. So we're actually getting really close to this area. There's a lot of levels of support here. This one we've talked about for a couple days, so let me just zoom out real quick. And we have a couple things to take in notice, right? One, on the 4 hour, so we're really zoomed out. I think overall the market's eventually going to work its way into like 82.50. I know I've been waiting on this for months, so I could still see this being a possibility. And the reason I also think that it's likely is because of how our S&P finally took out that high. So if you're in NQ buys, I'd say a good time to take some profit. Now, these lows are really close to one another. So the low that we just saw from like 10 days ago, or something like that, deep imbalance fill and then continuation. So will the market go back up to here or down to here? Like, is it likely? Do we have something forming here? There's kind of a trend line building out over here. Not really, actually. So the bounce out of here I like. I think we can definitely get a good bounce out of here. The entry is where things get a bit more specific. So for example, we see this start to sell off here from like 88.02. sells off, comes back up, sells off again, and then rallies. So what we're looking for here is, okay, how do we refine the entry? How do we get an entry where it's likely to trigger in reverse and we get a pretty good risk reward? So the first thing you could consider would be right off of where the gap starts and you see some levels of resistance. So this obviously gets you in the market, but then your risk, your stop is pretty massive. So then the question is, can we find a place that's still pretty likely for reversals, but also give us a better risk reward? And here is where I see, well, there's two zones, either in this imbalance right over here, which would have your entry at basically a little under 87, or this imbalance right here, which puts your entry at below 88.50, 87.50. So this is what I like. I like this first one. I think that is more than enough. So looking for a long here, 87.50. We just tapped the zone, guys. So we just tapped the zone. So the market could start to reverse right out of here. It's very, very possible. Your risk reward, obviously where you want to exit, is going to be based on a couple different things. A couple key factors. This would be the most probably ambitious move, would be to trade into here. So this is a full R for me. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So yeah, can we get a reversal out of this zone? We're getting pretty close. All right, so I'm about to get triggered in. Looks like just a couple ticks away. All right, I'm in now. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of drawdown. Wouldn't be surprised at all. All right, I just got stopped out on Dow again. So 2 half R losses. Now, I will add that my entry or my stop was a little bit below this. So if you have your stop at the high, then you might get away with this, because if oil's gonna reverse, then you probably get indice reversals here soon as well. So either way, that's fine, because I took 2 half R losses, which means it's just like I lost 1 trade. Whereas this oil trade that fits all of the confirmations for me, this is a 1 R. Mine is, it's a 1 risk trade. So what that means is, if I just make 1 R on this trade, it covers the other 2 losses. So that's the beauty of just understanding your system, understanding your risk threshold, etc. So we'll see, all right? We'll see if this is gonna play out and move the way we want it to. Right now we're about 50 points up on oil. So beautiful rejection so far. Yeah, great movement. And then the move down, right, this spike down here was about 168 points. So seeing this thing reject basically up to the open of the day, just even trading into here, makes sense. So right now we're seeing a good movement. I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least 100, basically fairly easily. The way I drew this out, let me know if you're in oil. Drop a W in the chat if you're in the oil trade right now. But you have kind of 2 ways to look at this, right? For the 5 minute, it starts up here actually, crashes to here, and then you start to see. So I'll just show you guys like how price action was over here. So you see this roll out like this. So from here it crashes, and then it stalls a little bit for like 5, 6, 7 minutes. And then it drops again, and this one is again for like 175 points. So actually depends. If you're marking it up from here, then this is going to go even further than we imagine. If you're marking it from down here, then we're at least getting a pretty good move. So what I like about this is based off of those reversals, either it's a, what do we say, 260 point move or 175 point move. So worst case, and our risk here, so the drawdown that we gave ourselves is about 100 and let's just say 20. So like bare minimum, this trade will go about 1.5R. And then if it's gonna go the 5-minute sell-off, which is this bigger one, right? Then that puts this trade at well over a 2R minimum for it to move. Which is pretty good if you ask me. All right, so let's see where this is at. All right, so we got oil. Alright, so now we saw a quick move up. The market bounced up, little pullback, so it's getting into imbalance fills on the small time frame. So you saw it fill this imbalance from here. Now it's starting to push further once again. Managing them super tight like this isn't necessarily anything that I do. Going for, let's say, scaling into another entry, honestly, that's part of my game that I definitely am looking forward to improving, or not even improving, just adding. I've never been someone that like scales into positions really too often. Every once in a while, like rarely, if there's like a different setup, like a textbook shakeout within the trade or another mitigation. But like here where we bounce really well, we move sideways for, a couple of minutes, we get into this imbalance. My intuition is telling me like, okay, take another small entry right here. But that's not something I have enough data in, so I won't just like, listen to that whisper in my ear, by any means. So here we go. But yeah, so for now, chilling. If you have your stop on Dow a little bit wider, then you're actually still in that trade. You're surviving. All right, who's in oil here? Some W's? Okay. Sweet. Want a lower entry? I normally don't, but thought we could see a deep pullback on this one. Hey, it still could. Like right now, if it were to go lower, if it were to go to the lower zone, then it still would be valid, in my opinion. I don't know if it will, but we'll see. All right, let's take a look at metals. What are metals? Oh, okay, interesting. So metals had that big spike up again. Oh, this is cool. So we have silver clear out all these highs. Remember I was saying this looks more like resistance to me. So it clears all of it. Does gold do the same thing? Oh yeah, okay. So gold also does the same thing, clears all of that liquidity, and then just does its thing. Yeah, all right, sweet. So this could become a shakeout, maybe a mitigation. If it breaks through and holds the structure lower, then it's valid for a sell later. If this here just keeps building up, so like let's say gold just keeps trading from here sideways, and then we slowly work our way higher, then that could be a sell as well. So it depends. If it breaks through, then we really want to see this maintain the structure. So gold and silver, very similar. And this is why I was like, hey, just wait on this, because it looks like it's just squeezing overall. And now, S&P working its way all the way down after taking out the high. I guess I could have waited for Dow sells as well until that happened, but whatever. NQ, with a lot more bearish momentum. So yeah, if you're still in Dow sells, it's definitely not dropping with a lot of momentum. Nas and S&P started to sell off aggressively because it had all the liquidity too. Since NQ and ES, they eliminated, where is this thing? Since these two swept all of these retail sellers, and then there was all this money available here, now the move down was way more aggressive. So Dow here doesn't have the same, I guess, kind of money to push it lower. So if you get the bare minimum, like I would be okay with taking just collecting whatever it gives. Like let's say the market just gives you just all the way to here, 51,000, take it. Yeah, I wouldn't look for the biggest move anymore here with Dow now that it's dropping with less intensity. I think it's very much possible that these London lows get swept by NQ. So if that's what happens, yeah, I mean, funny enough, I swear every time, I don't know why I do this, every time I tighten my stop below, like within the structure, is when the market does the extreme retracement, still survives, and then works out. And it's only with Dow. I do this with Dow for some reason, and every time I've done this in the last month, I've lost, and then the trade wins. So, enough data, it definitely tells you something. But okay, so things are looking pretty good. Markets are starting to give us possible opportunities here. So just like gold and silver look like they could either give a shakeout for a sell, or maybe could break the lows and it becomes a totally different setup. The market is starting to show signs. All right, starting to see signs. So this is typically what we like to see. So is it going to be gold, silver? Is it going to be NQ? We'll see here. What I want to see though, like these massive sells on metals and indices, typically that should be pushing oil higher. Like oil should be ripping if those are working in their way lower. So, interesting. In the meantime, we're seeing pullbacks with Bitcoin here. So after the big breakout, we're starting to see this work its way down. So Bitcoin getting into buy zones as well. So here had a big push down before the rally. However, you got some equal lows over here. Yeah, I wouldn't force buys on Bitcoin right now. ETH is a lot more bullish as well. So for those of you that trade crypto, looks like Ethereum would be a better if you're like day trading or margin trading. ETH looks like a better play. So I'd say wait for these things to go a little bit further down. Okay, so Nas, man, the NQ buy was the best one. The little one from over here, that like very, very quick shakeout type. So look, we now broke the lows. We broke through here, and then instantly NQ is coming back up. So is this confirming, is this giving us bearish structure? Yes or no, guys? Bearish structure. Are we in a downtrend now with NQ just because it broke this low? No, exactly. Exactly the case. So no, just because it broke beneath does not automatically make this bearish now. This isn't in a downtrend all of a sudden. So I'm not sold yet on this. Chillin'. Now what's holding up better, what could become possible shakeout trades, depending on how we work our way up. Gold still, like, here's where gold started to rip from. Gold came down. We started trading down here for about 4 or 5 minutes. So the break and retest buys. If this wants to stay like this for a while, then I'm more open to selling metals. But indices right now are kind of ripping. Like, they come up, down, and up way too quickly. So for now, still not ready. Okay, so we saw oil work its way back to entry, actually a little bit lower one more time. So this is still like valid, like entries are valid whether it was here, thank you, or whether it was down here. Like, this could still go lower, don't really know. I have my trade, I'm chilling. I don't need anything else right now. So we'll see. Now, okay, so look at this. Now Dow taking the lead on the move down, and Q sitting there. So now Dow is back to being a little bit of a stronger bear compared to NQ. What do you guys think? Now it has a shot. So there's more signs again that we could just be seeing some decent trade over here. Like, not to take a new position per se, but that you have you have a chance here at seeing that Dow trade actually play out. I believe the entry was, let me see, where was the original entry? Anyone still holding this? It was 310? No, where was this thing? Entry was like right here, right? From this last one? So some of you, if you survived, still in Dow, nice Janko. Had your stop above the high? Cool. So you guys were responsible. Well done. Surviving. Let's go, guys. I honestly think it's going to play out for you. Yeah, I think it will. I like your chances. I like your chances. Let's see. Let's see how it all unfolds, my friends. All right. Let's see. What did I want to add? So, okay. Natural gas. I know a couple of you guys are addicted to the gas. Setup wise, yeah, I mean, this just kind of gave a play here. Had a nice little sweep, breaks above, sweep some lows into this drop. Maybe some of you guys are in that one. Oil starting to move in our favor again. So, let me go ahead and get this one here. Screen share. camera got crazy, right? All right. We're back. Okay, so I'm gonna go into majors here in a second, but I want to recap this trade that just triggered for us and what we had done previously. So remember, we were looking for the liquidity sweep here. So we saw a giant push down right here. Now if we use the replay tool, we can go to this section. And then we go back to the date. So it was Friday. So you saw this push, right? And now you could argue it starts from up here or down here. This is like a 275 point drop. And then this is like a 175 point drop. So huge sell-off that liquidates the lows. And remember, the context matters. So it takes out massive levels here. Like areas that have been building up liquidity for quite a bit of time. Took out the lows from May 7th as well. So it was a big move. Followed by that, then we end up seeing the market continue to roll out. And then that brings us to the present, where we finally get a break above, like on 15-minute time frame, so clean break in structure. And the more we zoom out, I think the cleaner this looks, but here you go. So not only do we get above this 15-minute high, we then get what I would consider a 1 hour break of structure, or we break above here as well. And we maintain these highs for Tuesday, Tokyo session, Wednesdays, New York, and then going into London. So a good 24 to 36 hours. And then we work our way down, build up more liquidity, work our way up again. So this does give us kind of a distribution before it worked its way. So I do think we can get at least a decent bounce out of this. Does this need to get up to all the way up here today? And is it even likely to happen? I mean, there's enough liquidity to give it a pretty good push, because we just cleared out a whole 10 days worth of buyers. So bigger reverses are definitely possible. But we'll play it by ear. RR wise, we don't need a 4R for this to be a successful trade. This, I think, bare minimum gives us a 2R, just because of how big the sell-off here was originally. So, yeah, I think we can see some pretty good movement out of here. Just wanted to recap. Obviously, this is active. Took the trade below this imbalance that's here on the smaller time frame, so we saw it kind of squeeze on the way up, and so it clearing this consolidation was why I wanted my entry right here, and I want to get tagged in for sure, so I put it right at a clean 87.50. It's holding up pretty well right now, so nice. Okay, that's oil. Let's move on to some majors here. Is there any dollar pairs that you guys are interested in right now? These have been squeezing a whole bunch. So we have equal lows definitely still present here for like Australian, which was also a Tokyo low. This is spiked into the imbalance already, so I'm not really looking for too much of a shakeout, at least not here. I just got an alert on NQ, so I'll come back to these majors here in a second. And NASDAQ really, really dumping right now. So NQ just poked below the London low. Very nice. Great movement. That's still pushing Dow at a slower pace, much, much slower pace over to here. Dow's London lows are way down here, so bless you. I would be less ambitious with Dow sells, just considering that it's not the leading mover to the downside. NQ looks like either it's going to want to reverse out of this area here. You know, you have some order blocks, you have some structure right here. Otherwise, if it's not, and this wants to keep moving lower, I would say these imbalances are likely. And I think just considering also S&P's price action, I would be surprised if we don't see S&P look to take out London's retail buyers as well. So I think this can continue to move down. Like, you'll get a normal bounce out of here, something light, but working its way to this imbalance makes more sense. And I don't think S&P has swept enough retail buyers yet either. This doesn't seem like a big enough move. So I do think we continue to work our way lower and go from there. A sneaky little, I don't know why I didn't really notice this, but something that might be of interest here. And let me double check this is on YM as well. And it's not just like a micro move. Okay, cool. So, interesting candle right here. This here, this is during London session. Definitely not a high conviction buy or anything like that, but we have a big sell-off here during London session. This definitely clears out, you know, a good 2 hours worth of buyers trading into here, and then instantly reverses. So is this, do we think this is still a valid buy? Huge. So this is a big candle. Like, this is an unusual move at this time. So this looks interesting to me. I think this might be worth a small risk type of trade, not a one arm by any means. So for those of you that are in that Dow short, I wouldn't want to be at risk really anymore. I think reduce risk for sure, if not break even. I believe the entry that you guys got was like somewhere over here. So yeah, this is moving really nicely. S&P almost at taking out the London lows. It's getting very close. And then NQ also getting very close to these imbalances that I had talked about. Nice, guys. Yeah, I don't see the point of being at risk anymore with this trade. Nice, very nice. All right, let's see. S&P is getting closer and closer. Honestly, it looks like Dow is picking up some steam. So playing out of this structure right here, obviously you have, at the time when this is working its way higher, this looks like it could be a strong level of resistance. So just typical normal for the market to kind of bounce out of here. I think there's one more leg down before that continues. Before I guess I would cut my trade. So I think some of you are sitting at maybe 1-to-1, a little lower, roughly 1-to-1. Better than nothing. I mean, if you're willing to lose one, might as well be able to win one or a little more. Yeah, this is getting closer. S&P approaching more and more. Cool. What's the exit strategy that you guys have that are on Dow right now? I have these Apex challenges where I just took another entry on Dow over here, just because of since it was technically valid still, and I don't really, for those it's like I'll just trade them whatever. But on all my fundeds I did not take another position on this or anything. Meanwhile, while this is going crazy, oil is being extremely disappointing and it's not doing anything, which is kind of a bummer. You would imagine. You would think that we'd get some momentum here. So I wonder if it's going to be kind of a delayed effect or what. But I know a lot of you are in indices, so I want to be able to cover this. And okay, look, silver just took out Tokyo lows. Gold is about to. Now it did. And then that brings S&P down to here, and then now you're getting this trade here. So I think taking profit on Dow makes a lot of sense. So locked it in there. And then now that we're getting, right, S&P approaching these imbalances over here, structure, you have NQ way down in this imbalance. I think the buys in this zone for Dow, I mean, they kind of make sense to me. It's a little, like I said, this is not a full risk trade by any means. I'm waiting a little bit longer. I want to see S&P in the imbalance right here. S&P pokes into this imbalance, and then I'm considering Dow buys. It would be a smaller risk position. But a position nonetheless. Oil starting to break out. Very nice. So our oil trade's running a bit more. Let's go to oil real quick. Now, we might not see, honestly, Dow buy might be ready. Because look at gold trading down to here. Gold with the Tokyo low sweep, getting into an order block right there. Silver, deep retracement down to here. Things are getting closer. And we got our oil move starting to move a little bit further up. So we are now at a good place here. Oil's up about 75, almost 80 points. Okay, very nice. Did you guys take profit on Dow? I followed your trading for a long time. Why not use order flow to see who's in control in real time and get more precise entries? Because I caught the reversal from the bottom wick and I saw the sellers absorb buyers at the top in real time and currently riding sells down. Well, bro, you should just have a channel and run it up yourself. And I'll watch you. Teach me the ways, Elias. Teach me the ways, bro. I'm always open. I'm always open to learning more. I'm not even kidding. Like, shit, man. If there's more, like, I mean, I have arguably some of the nastiest entries in the game, but it can get better. Elias, if you're in the community, drop your screenshots right here. Post your trade, and then show me the order flow in here, and then with your trading, like the entry. A small time frame oil shakeout. Did you get tagged out right here on that one? When it like spiked right below? I think at like 9. Or which one did you take? Or did you have a wider stop, Corey? Yeah, I go live every day. Oh, Monday through Friday. My exit is full mitigation. Exit is at 50.913. Oh, you guys talking about Dow? 50.913. That just missed you, huh? That's rough. Maybe it gets there though. TP with Dow, nice. TP down it, sick. NQ sell on Dow and now even. TP on Dow, now even, break even on oil. Oh, sweet. NQ sell, nice. You're a savage. So yeah, the Dow buy would have played out. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Which one did you take, Elias? Like, what trade did you take? Dang, I knew it too. As soon as I saw gold take out Tokyo lows, the liquidity here, and silver, like everything was liquidating. And at that moment, I was like, "Fuck!" I swear, this buy is about to rip. I thought about it too. I was like, "Let me just take the trade a little early." But damn, that'd be a 2.3R already. Sick. TPA, what's up, Nando? Jay in the NQ sell right now up 3R. When are you gonna take profit, dude? How much more do you want to see? God damn. You greedy bastard. You greedy bastard, Jay. Take your money, man. He's like, no, I want to sell it to 0. I remember you from IM. Are you doing your own mentoring now? For the last 14 months, yeah. Yeah, we've been doing everything, man. Hosting all the sessions for free right here. And then for everyone else that's wants way more hands-on work and go through like our step-by-step program designed for like intermediate to advanced traders. It's not like beginners. Yeah, that's what we have the syndicate for. And then if you are a beginner and you want 30 days hands-on work, then that's what the fast track is for. I reached for 3.5. So you got to be careful with making your profit, your targets. You don't want to have your targets be about the risk reward and about the money. Like, the market doesn't give a shit about what you want to get out of it. Remember that. Like, it's just going to move based off what the market's doing. So yeah, that's why, like, look at how good the exit was. Everyone's exit, like your exit here on Dow was perfect without the order flow either. I'd just be guessing. So perfect exit here for this one. Entry though, the entry, like I said, right? What did I say earlier? I said you have the entire market is a huge chessboard. It's a whole bunch of moving pieces, and when everything starts to align. So, for example, we saw liquidity captured across multiple assets. So silver, gold, and playing out of the order block. So gold, silver liquidating. You saw then S&P taking out London lows. You saw Dow playing into the sell-off right here at the exact same time. And you had NASDAQ's complete imbalance fill. So you had like everything got into like just like closed its piece. And everything moved into position so that like all of the stars were aligned. When you have that, either that's a great place for exits or it can be a great place for entries for sure. Cool. But yeah, those are the times where you want to like understand that if you're only trading, like, okay, so I want to say a couple things so that it's clear. There's a million ways to make money in the market, right? There's a million different ways to do that. And you don't need to do it like how I do it, and you don't need to do it like how anyone else does it, because there's a lot of really cool ways to find your edge, to whether it's entries, exits, management, your psychology. There's a million different ways to do things. But if you really want to understand the quote-unquote smart money concepts, the key thing in that phrase actually is the concepts. And I don't even think that's, I feel like it's not, people want to learn the patterns and candlesticks and whatever. But that's not exactly what's happening. Like, yes, that will help you. It'll give you structure to how to see the market. But you have to understand that what's really happening when you're taking these positions, it's a game of psychology. It's almost like it's closer to a game of poker. It's luring in, it's incentivizing behavior. So, and also you have to remember, like, in order for the markets to go up or down aggressively, there needs to be enough money in the market at those positions. So, and that's happening not just with one asset, it's happening across multiple. So when you can put the pieces together across multiple assets to understand where something's going to go, flow, then you're able to make better trades. Like, a pattern is going to fail because a pattern isn't what moves the market, but context won't. Narrative won't as much, especially if you are aware of what's happening big picture, the macro and the micro. So for example, the narrative here, and which was I should have waited because I knew this was possible. But I literally was like, all right, guys, like S&P is going to sweep liquidity still got to take out New York highs. And for whatever reason, I didn't wait for my Dow entry for that to happen. So this was more of an emotional, or not even that emotional, it was a mistake based off of patience was the sell. Because the sell, we could have had way higher. Absolutely. We should have survived this trade. It was a rare stop being lower than this, right? So that was a mistake on patience. NQ also liquidating more aggressively. That was the play. And then in full alignment, once everything came crashing down, okay, what did we notice? All right, guys, well, we weren't going to go and buy NQ because it had the most bearish volume. Market needed to rebalance over here, so I said, wait, hold off. You can hold your trade. You can hold the take profit longer. So there's a lot of things that came into place that weren't just like candlesticks. It was understanding where money wants to flow, why money wants to flow there. That's what makes the biggest difference. So just to give you guys more and more context and for you to understand and think about this from a different place. Yeah, for whatever reason, oil just is not trying to do anything. It's being lame. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot I had this trade open over here. Fuck me. Oh, no, I had it. We good. Okay, so, I was like, I forgot. It's copy traded over, but I forgot that was ready. Double dipping on gold right now. Definitely gonna be tuning in. Been subscribed for a few years now, but never kept up. I've been marking up since smart money, and I noticed I've been getting stopped out. But trade always goes where I mark up. So yeah, that might be. So what's your name, Tori? That might be because of a correlation thing. So for example, here, I'll show you. So sometimes what happens is you'll have a setup. So like, let's say NQ here. NQ had that same spike down that Dow played off of. It's the same one. But this did not hold or survive. This got crushed. So yeah, sometimes you want to look at the divergence between them. Like, if you're only looking at Dow, NQ and Dow might have a similar setup, but one might be just way more bearish, and that's the one that's going to fail. So a lot of times, especially with traders that trade indices, they marry one indice because they're just comfortable with it. They just chose it. It's easier for them. It's more simple for whatever reasons, right? But the problem is you're going to lose trades like that. You can still be profitable, but you are going to lose some trades that you could have avoided if you just were considering the other asset. All right, cool, Elias. Yeah, just share what you have in here, man. I mean, I'm open, man. If you're profitable, I'm open. Like, I'm willing to learn from anyone that's like making money and they're consistent with it. Yeah, I'm down. Like, some of the things that I picked up, especially early on, were just by like picking up on random charts on people that I knew were like crushing it. And some of those things were useful. Obviously, some were not. But I'm not break even on oil yet. I'm still letting this thing do its thing. Yeah, I don't have it hasn't reacted enough for me to go reduce risk or break even. So this is just kind of floating. Yeah. I was aiming for the fair value gap from Tokyo session, so I was cautious. Fair value gap from it already hit that though. It was already in here. Or where? Or did it like just miss you or something? When you mark up your charts, what do you start with? The London Asian lows and their highs? Then you mark up. Oh no, I don't mark these up. This is just this tool right here, Farah trading sessions high low on the top left over here. So you can just look it up and then it'll just throw it up on there for you. So this is useful just so you can kind of see another version of liquidity. When you mark up SPX, should you also mark up? Yeah, I would. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's my problem. I stay on one asset for too long, and that's definitely trades I can avoid. Yeah, you just want to, like, if you see a setup and you're like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this looks great. Cool, just do a quick scan. Like, go check on, you know, whatever else correlates with it, and then see if you still are in the right, you know, if you still have good opportunity. Otherwise, sometimes, like, you might have noticed a setup on Dow, and then NQ might have a similar one. So let's say you're looking for buys, and originally you find it on Dow, and you're like, oh, cool, this buy looks good. But then you look at NQ and it has the same thing. If Dow is already way more bearish, then NQ is probably going to be a better chance, because this is where, like, even with smart money, you get waked out and then it goes. Like, that happens often. Mm-hmm. The session starts at like 8:15 Central, so like an hour 20 ago. Yeah. Close to being profitable, have a full-time job. You can be profitable and have a full-time job. Ideally that's how that goes. Yeah. Honestly, man, Elias, with so many things that you can learn, bro, like order flow, it just hasn't been something I've added. I think one of the big mistakes traders make, not saying that you make this mistake right now, but one of the biggest things that I see is that, hold on, I kind of like this gold shakeout. What do we think about gold shakeout here? Sideways. The blue line. Oh, this blue line was like some line I marked up. It was like liquidity or something. I know I was in the middle of a thought and responding to you, Elias, but now I have to make decisions. Imbalance fill on Dow. Oh, the shakeout on Dow looks a lot better though. You got resistance. So this liquidates tons of buyers. Comes up here. Here's where break and retest sellers start to get enticed into the game. So here you have sellers joining the party. And then looking for buys over here. I think I like the Dow buys a little bit better. So if you took this trade, awesome. I hope you hit profit on your Dow buy. I'm gonna look for a buy here on Dow. This is what we call the shakeout entry. Like right here, looks clean. See if it works its way down to the zone. Here's where we've seen support, resistance, quite a bit, often actually. So from here, I think we can go. So let's see, I'll have an alert here. And then I wonder, you know what? Because NASDAQ hasn't taken out Tokyo lows yet either. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off on metals. Metals are still pretty bearish. Silver will probably take out Monday's low still. All right, yeah. So I'm gonna hold off, and then Dow looks like it's gonna be my buy. There's a lot of trading today. So I'm gonna be on the lookout for this. I'll just have this right here for now. It might not get down this low. That would be the sad part, and then just miss me again. But I don't know. You tell me. Order flow, Eli. Where's my entry? Give me the signal. What would it look like? I'm curious if this lines up. We're doing real time implementation, experimentation. But yeah, it's totally okay to be, guys, you should be profitable first and also have a job. Like that's what you want. Build your cash, have enough for 6 months, a year of expenses when you go full time. What you don't want is just too much pressure once you drop some of your income streams. Also, guys, if you're considering, taking trading on as your main income stream, don't go from full income to zero. Like, have something. Like, you got to ease your way off in the learning stage. Cool. Yeah, it's pretty useful. Seth put me onto this one. It's nice. Get it on demo and small capital on my own account. That's the way to go. My TP was at the bottom of it, so it just missed me, but my stop was at 3R. Okay, why the bottom? Shakeout Dow. Yeah, Daniel, that's exactly what I'm looking for, bro. Shakeout on Dow. I would like to see it. Let's see. So for putting things together, remember, we could use all sorts of tools. So silver already took out the low. Gold here. Playing out of this order block first. So this has now become efficient. Probably trades into this one next. Ah, okay. It's delayed. You have the delayed data. How are you pinning the entry if it's delayed? I have questions, man. All right. So yeah, look at how we're working our way down to here. One thing that we could also do, if we wanted to, let's say, get a pretty good, scale in, we could be scaling into the trade as well. So for example, you take a small, because here we have some pretty good levels of support right here. So we could take a small position here, scale in as well. And then what we want to keep in mind is the risk reward. So let's say we were to take our trade up here. 2R is not bad, still would be worth it. So we could scale in. Just know how much you're putting at risk and what you're totaling into. Closer here. NQ starting to hold these highs much better. This is giving us shakeout liquidity right there. What do you guys think? Do we get another sweep first and then the move runs? Let's see, let's go smaller time frame. Here was the last push down, another push down. CME. CME. Oh, okay, that's what you meant. That makes sense. Oh, data feed. I read delayed twice for some reason, not data feed. My bad, I misread what you said. Thought I could take out the Tokyo lows. Yeah, on NQ. That thing was gunning. Yes, sir. Jay, you're a beast, bro. Look at you. Jay was actually the reason we started the fast track. And sniping now. Started at 0, guys. Started at 0. Had no knowledge. Did the fast track. And then like 30 days later, he's like close to getting funded. Epic. Hey, guys, if you're not registered for the fast track, you gotta go check it out. Tomorrow we're gonna break down exactly what that looks like. So our fast track program is 30 days, super hands-on, starting from like as a beginner, and then by the end of it, in 30 days, you will have your complete system ready. You will be having every single protocol so that you can take on challenges, get funded, and Nance is, I think, how many sessions do they end up having live with you during the month? Like 12? Maybe a little bit more?
2 a week is the minimum.
It's like, I think it's 2 live sessions a week, going through everything, going through the assignments that you guys get, and then the last week it's live every day, twice a day. So, so it's like 16 sessions, maybe 17 live. So if you're someone that's like, I want to have hands-on help, then click that link, register for the webinar so you guys can just see what it's all about, and then make a decision on whether it's for you. All right, guys, I'm taking a position here. So I'm doing my first half risk right here. So 5 contracts to kick things off. And then, all right, now we're doing the second batch. All right. So we're in there, folks. We are in there. Where is this thing? Here we go. Okay, so see how it goes. Either very good, very shit. We shall see. All right, so we officially have NQ going now for those Tokyo lows. From here, now I feel pretty good about this trade, pushing forward. Now that Tokyo lows have been swept, S&P also in this imbalance that we had talked about before. This is where I thought we could get reversals from S&P. And then lastly, we have gold trading way down into here, which is another trade that I wanted to see. So looks like I'm taking this trade too. So we are in here. Gold buys. From right. Oh no, I was too late. All right, so my risk reward is going to change drastically with this trade. I'm in a gold buy. That was very quick. I didn't expect it to crash like that so fast. And then take profits. I kind of want to see us trade into where we had these order blocks. So I'm looking for not too much out of gold here, about a 2R. I'm a little under leveraged on this trade, and that's fine. So we have gold here. Gold buys are active. Dow buys are active, which may or may not play out. We'll see. Market's taking a beating right now. And then oil in a little bit of profit. So I just got stopped out on Dow. And here's why I think we're gonna, this is why. Look at how S&P had a bit more of an imbalance to fill. So with that being said, like, you know, it is what it is. I still think we're gonna end up getting reversals. And meanwhile, we have our oil trade running though. So oil trade still up here. This one's in profits. Will gold survive? Now Dow finally getting into this lower level over to here. This was the imbalance that we originally wanted to see the reversal from. Yeah, these things are melting. Everything is collapsing right now. So honestly, like I said, I still thought we had a chance of getting reversals. You got to be okay with the volume of trading that you're taking and the risks that you're taking. As you guys know, I'm a shooter. Like, I'm gonna take my shot. And honestly, this trade I think was an order block trade at a here. So now that we've saw S&P has just a little bit more to drop. There we go. Now S&P has swept liquidity, and believe it or not, let's see here. We have London lows that have yet to be swept for Dow. So this is still liquidity to be taken. And then you have this final push. So if you want one move, this is the last move downwards here. Right there. All right, so you got this mitigated already. Here we go. You have London lows here to be swept. So we already had the exchange of money here. The shakeout, I guess, wasn't enough. Which makes sense because we didn't sweep enough liquidity. So this is actually my mistake. Damn, I'm making mistakes today. Huh. Okay. Remember the higher time frame, right? We had NQ over here, big sweep down. So here's where money starts to come in. So reversals are likely now in this area. Dow also in this zone. Right? We're at our lower zone. So Dow has been dropping with less intensity for sure. And I'm gonna take my shot at Dow again. Is this gonna be another replay of Friday? So here is the overall structure. We're at almost an 886 pullback over here. Meanwhile, NQ, this is the same move. Remember, this drop right here was Friday, end of New York session. This drop here was Monday's, but this entire move is over here as well. So I think it's really up to personal interpretation on this movement. Like, Dow is still pushing lower while NQ is starting to stall out a little bit more. So this is a choice, whether it's like, okay, do you want to split your risk? Are you unsure? You're like, I don't know about any of this anymore. The plot thickens over here. NQ still dropping a little bit lower. Dow still pushing. Dow has Tokyo lows here as well. I'm going to take my shot now that NQ is liquidated. I'm going to take my shot at NASDAQ. Since I'm a bit unsure based off of just how this is moving, I'm going to go with a little bit less with half risk here. What's going on with this thing? Alright, something's up with this. Bro, did y'all see that? It like wouldn't let me take the position anymore? What was up with that? That was really weird. Why did it do that? Alright, okay, gold is back up in profit, at least. So gold's up. We have oil still up. Indices are reversing. I tried getting in, but this, for some reason, something was glitching here. What was that? Had a market. That was really weird. That's fucking bogus. All right, whatever. Anyways, all right. Well, you guys knew what I was gonna do, right? I was gonna buy either NQ or Dow, both ripping from here. So if you took your shot at this, should be up. And then the gold trade now is in some profits, so we're now getting a good reversal. The original move down over here, so this is gold. Gold gave us a clean 155 point move. Now we're seeing a great reversal, 200 plus. So I'm reducing my stop on this. So we're all set there. Okay. So I think this is gonna be like, these are just liquidity captures and then the market's gonna run from here. Like these are all gonna just start ripping here. So nice little sweeps. You take your shot. Things are looking good there. You have Dow and NQ moving along nicely. So if you're looking at the way that Dow is moving, right, Dow dropped here for about 120 points. The market has now moved upwards well over 120. So if for this trade, because the entry was pretty low, moving stop to either reduce risk or break even, that would be the valid trade management. At least that's how I would manage it. With NASDAQ, NASDAQ hasn't quite mitigated completely. Well, maybe this small time frame one. No, just shy. So you can see Dow is a bit more volatile. Overall, it's looking good. Checking copy trader here, looking good. So yeah, indices. Hopefully you guys were able to do something there. I don't know why something malfunctioned on my end, but whatever. Silver lighted up, taking NQ, less R though. Got into NQ longs. The buyers are stepping in a lot. I see. Yeah, I'm still holding oil. Let's see if I can see the sellers stepping in, and they're getting absorbed. Yeah, clearly. Cool. So gold doing its thing. Moving on up here. Stops reduced. And then if you want, you can go down to a smaller time frame and kind of see where the market's already been a bit more efficient. So if you want to just tighten up your stops so you're at less exposure, makes sense. And then at this point, remember, there's tons of liquidity as it works its way up. So like, because so much got swept here, it also has a lot of ammo. So yeah, play it by ear, guys. Long NQ and oil hedging, LOL. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about our oil trade anymore, because regarding how aggressively the markets have dumped, like that should have been oil's push up. So it's kind of strange. Like, we didn't really get that. Like, we've been squeezing, so maybe this is just going to be, the timing of this is going to be a little different. For me, it's still valid to keep holding this. It hasn't moved enough for me to stop to start adjusting its stops or anything like that. So Yeah, still chilling. Good mitigation on Dow. So like I said, stop should be at this point at break even. No reason to avoid anything there. I'm not in NQ because this thing didn't fucking work. So yeah, I'm not in NQ or in Dow as I was trying to figure that out. No, I haven't moved anything, but clearly Dow has a lot more momentum. All right, gold. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, guys, a lot of positions so far. Higher volume day for sure. We had gold buys, oil buys, Dow sells, half our Dow sells, Dow buys, Dow. Yeah, we've been everywhere. So yeah, I mean, overall, most of these, I think the one that for sure was a loss was the first Dow sell. And then from there we had, and then the shakeout L as well. So quite a bit of volume today. And Dow and gold, nice, caught the low here, beautiful. So a couple half-hour losses, a couple 1 hour wins, or risk 1 hour, up 2 hour. This one's up again, fat. So pretty nice. If you wanted to get gold conservative exits, playing, exiting in these order blocks is your safest bet for sure. So having this, get to these levels is just your safest place to take profit. With the amount of liquidity that it's taken out, obviously there is more possibility that it can go higher. So let it rip. Chances are Nas cleanly can make it to like 29,350. S&P high probability exits are closer to 51.55. The lows that it's taking out right now, they don't seem to be for downtrend purposes. This is definitely just liquidity sweeps. And then yeah, gold, metals with the least amount of momentum. Definitely struggling. But what's weird is oil isn't going down or up regardless. Like right now, even with these massive pumps across metals and indices, oil's still not melting off. So I feel like once indices are done doing whatever they're doing, I feel like liquidity is going to move over to oil. And then maybe we get our oil trade to finally pop off here. So yeah, I mean, good shit, guys. How was the day for y'all? How do we feel? And then remember what we talked about, right? How I said we wanted to see ETH get into this lower zone first before anything regarding Bitcoin. So now you're seeing that too. So look at that. Bitcoin took the low. So I said, wait, there's liquidity right there. Took that low, and now it's moving. So I think we have ways to go here. Cool. Well, guys, super long session today. Been here for about an hour 45. I think we're going to wrap up right there. Obviously, you guys can see this 15-minute close was epic. You guys saw the low get pinned. Sadly, I still have to watch the replay because I don't know why I wasn't able to get into this trade. But yeah, we'll go from there. So if you took some wins, then, you know, share them in the community, post them, tag us, tag me, tag whatever. And we'll see you guys on the webinar for the fast track. If you want to be able to catch trades like the way we just did, then you definitely don't want to miss that out for tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. We're doing the webinar. We're breaking it all down. It's in the link here that's pinned out to the top. Register for that just to see if it's for you, right? If you're someone that's like, I gotta just stop feeling like I'm a beginner and have hands-on work for like 30 days straight, it's for you. And obviously with the program where you can learn on your own while you're doing those things, and you have worksheets and assignments so you can make sure you understand what it is that you're doing, and you're not just, you know, watching tons of videos and hoping that things change, but it's like actually implementation. So much love, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.